Okay. Okay, everyone. Let's see. That's super, super exciting. Yeah.
Very impressed with all your tech handling.
And we are live. Hello and welcome, everybody. Yes, we are multitasking in here. So, welcome to everyone who's joining us from YouTube, from Facebook, LinkedIn. We have Instagram in here. We have amazing Sue-Ann Hickey with us, who is all the way in Canada, while I am actually here live joining from Sydney, Australia. So we are a global community. Welcome to a new episode of Business Meets Life. Sue-Ann, it's later evening for you now. Do you still have energy? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Janine. Yes, lots of energy. enough for about an hour.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna get this started. And many of you might actually be asking, like, who exactly is Sue-Ann? In case you have not heard her yet, let me quickly show you a video while I introduce you to her. So we're multitasking in here. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And even in case you cannot hear it, which wouldn't be a big problem, it's also okay. Sue-Ann is going to let me know if you can hear it. Can you see the video now?
Not yet.
Yeah, of course, because I have not put it here yet. So now it should be possible. So I hope, let me know if you can hear the video.
Today, we all have our superpowers, but sometimes
Yes.
we don't use them. So when you eat right for your body type, you unlock your body's superpowers. And
Hi, Luke. Hi, Minesh.
Superhero.
Oh, wow.
Woohoo! Superhero. JT was flashed after Sue-Ann got half naked and became a superhero. On stage, I love it. So many of you might still be asking, who is that superhero lady who is my amazing speaker here today on this live podcast? So Sue-Ann Hickey is a naturopath and international best-selling author. She also is a creator of the Body Typology Blueprint. She's a personalized system for sustainable weight loss. With over 14 years in practice, she helps people restore energy, right? That's why I asked her about her energy, right? Lose weight naturally and unlock their body's natural superpowers by eating for their unique body type and releasing limiting beliefs. Oh my gosh, I love it. Thank you so much for making time for us. I really, really appreciate you, dear Sue-Ann. And I would love to ask you first. You help so many women transform their bodies. But take us a little bit back in your life. What was your personal breaking point where you realized something had to change in your own life?
Yeah, I would say maybe before I started taking my classes to be a naturopath, I had like very little energy. I was hungry all the time. I was snacking and eating. You know, I'd have cereal in the morning. I'd be hungry an hour later and snacking all day long. And my energy was on this roller coaster because I was usually reaching for sweets and carbs. And so when you're reaching for sugar and your energy is going up and down, your mood swings are as well. So I was having a lot of problems. I was in a cycling club. I could barely keep up. And I had eczema all over my hands for 20 years. My complexion was like as white as a ghost. And I was feeling like life had passed me by. I couldn't do the things I love to do. And then when I started taking my classes to be a naturopath and learn about the body types and started eating for my body type, my energy and strength started going like this. And I was in a cycling club and people were like, what are you doing? Like, because I kept on getting stronger. And I felt so much better, so much more balanced, and I wasn't hungry all the time. And I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I'm eating this way for the rest of my life, and I have to tell all the world about eating for their body type too.
Thank you so much for sharing this part of your journey. I feel like there's so many women who have told me about similar symptoms. And of course, today we're going to speak also about weight loss. I remember like recently I start to see more and more women going on stage or going to companies speaking about menopause. Did that have something to do with menopause? Because I even learned recently that menopause can even happen to people in their 20s and 30s, not only to people in their 50s.
Yeah, so I mean, at the time I was probably in perimenopause, so it could have played a role. I think it's fascinating as a naturopath. I'm constantly researching things because, yes, as our estrogen declines, there's so many things that happen with our body that we're still learning now. Like it's only 2022, 2023 that we're learning that the gut microbiome is even affected when you go through menopause. So there's so many different things that will, maybe cause us to have lower energy or not the stamina we used to, and so many physical symptoms that can be happening.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So for everyone who has seen the introduction video of Amazing Sue-Ann, it was actually her speaking on a huge stage in Los Angeles about a year ago. Actually, I saw your speech. I remember it after seeing it. We were there at the same event. She spoke to a few thousand people. I think there were about 80 different kind of business owners from more than 80 different countries around the world were there. I was actually speaking on the same stage. I think this was when the son of Lamborghini was there on stage, and we had Mario Lopez and a lot of other like celebrities and business owners. So good on you, as the Aussies say here. In your work, you also do a lot in terms of like emotions. So you've spoken a lot about emotional changes and also low self-worth. What was the hardest truth you had to face about yourself before real transformation could begin?
Wow, that's a big question. I would say I would go back to when I was 30. I went to see an intuitive healer, and she was talking to me about different things, and she said, I want to go back around age 12 or 13. What was going on then? And I'm like, I don't know. And then she brought me back again. What was going on at that time of your life? And I said, well, I found out from a friend that my dad was getting remarried. Like my parents neglected to tell me. We had to sell the house. The divorce went through. We moved to another area. I had to change schools. And she said, you took a decision then. If I don't let people get close to me, they can't hurt me. And I burst into tears. I'm like, oh my God, that's when I became painfully shy, because I had been shy from the age of about 12 until my late 20s even. It took me a long time. And when I had that aha moment, it was like, a time to like, okay, I'm not there anymore. It's time to break down all the walls that I had put around me. So I believe that when we allow people to have those aha moments of where they're still being triggered from, then we can break free and let go of our challenges that might have been there for a long time. So that was one of mine.
I mean, 2 days ago, I just had a relationship specialist on this podcast. And I mean, everyone who knows a little bit about like psychology and these kind of things, they always go back to the childhood, right? Like as a trainer for mental fitness, very often, like we also go back to what are the patterns, like these routines, these processes that very often are even created in our brains till age of 7. And then it's funny, we're just not consciously aware of it, but it is there. So we sometimes got to dig deep. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So you also mentioned actually that you went on a solo spiritual journey for I think like 1.5 years. I don't know. This reminds me of like Julia Roberts, Eat, Pray, Love, like Bali. I don't know if this was it, but where were you really like? What were you really running from, and what did you ultimately find? And also, where have you been?
Yes, I love these questions. Was I running from something? I didn't look at it that way, but I guess if I dig a little deeper, maybe I was. I definitely was not ready to settle down, much to my mother's chagrin. She's like, when are you going to meet someone and settle down? But I think it was more of a searching journey of like, why is there suffering in the world? Why are we having all these challenges all the time? So I I started in India with my yoga teacher's training course for a month in southern India, and I stayed 6 months in India. And then I went home because my mother was getting remarried, and I went back and continued. And then I went to Nepal and I studied Buddhism and meditation in a monastery there, a few months in Nepal, and then Indonesia and Bali. And I was always looking for teachings and looking for spiritual places to learn about meditation and spirituality. So it was a really an Eat, Pray, Love kind of Canadian experience. And
Wow.
then, Australia, I visited some friends and went down the East Coast and then to Hawaii and back home through Vancouver. So it was around the world for a year and a half.
Beautiful. Wow, it's so funny. You just spoke about India. One of my Indian friends from Shanghai just joined while you were talking about India. So, what do you think was like the ultimate thing you really got out of this kind of like solo trip? I also remember back at HP when I worked there, one of my colleagues, he said one of the best vacations are actually when you are by yourself.
Yes, you really do need to step out of your comfort zone and meet people and ask for directions and all of this. You're not stuck in a little couple or group. So I would say one thing that hit me a lot was when I was in India, and the people there are so spiritual. And I remember being on a beach, and the kids were making meditation castles, meditation temples and meditation caves and temples in the sand. And I was thinking, this is the epitome of East meets West. You know, in the West, it's all about wealth, and they'll be building castles in the sand. And here, the little young kids were making meditation caves. So I thought it kind of said a lot, and it showed me how there, a lot of people, you know, you see a lot of poverty. They don't have very much, but the kids are so well behaved and not spoiled, and they just playing, you know, with sticks and whatever they have around, and people seemed happier with less. So that kind of hit me a lot. Yeah, the inner happiness.
Yeah. Like every year I actually check like the happiness index, because like during my master's degree, although like I originally come from IT and everything, I took a course about success factor happiness, which changed my life. That's why I quit my corporate job, started my own company when I was in China then. And yeah, if you look at it, like the happiest countries are not like I'm German, as you know, or like maybe Canada. But no, it is funnily even like Scandinavia, like Finland nowadays, even if there's also like partly like a high suicide rate. But then also I just interviewed a presidential candidate from Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica just became number 4. So yeah, it has nothing to do with wealth when it comes to happiness.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about love and relationships and maybe personal evolution. So when we had our preparatory call, you mentioned some things where I was like, oh, wow. First of all, I was speaking to a colleague and I said, oh yeah, I'm about to interview Sue-Ann Hickey. And we were speaking about your age, and she's like, no way. She looks super young, like in her 40s. So I think you mentioned to me, and I really love the beautiful guys. There's also follow her on Instagram and on YouTube. She has a lot of really good content on there as well. And I saw this beautiful post like at the end of 2025 about the love of your life and yourself. So now you basically mentioned you have now finally found what you call the love of your life, or in a different way. How has doing your inner work changed the way you show up in love today compared to Sue-Ann in the past?
Oh yeah, so Sue-Ann in the past was on a crash and burn trajectory. I think, I don't blame my parents, but I had, like, my dad left and came back quite a few times when I was young. So that was maybe what I was seeing, and at the time in the 60s, my mom would take him back and then he would leave again. So I had this was what I saw. And so when I was dating, I'd usually choose men that were not available, and I would be probably overly clingy, and then they would leave, and I would be all upset, and then I would do the same thing, and I'd meet another man, but the next one was maybe wearing Lululemon yoga pants or whatever. The same over and over, always choosing the wrong kind of men who were not ready to commit. And but I always believed that my true love was out there. And lo and behold, yes, 7 years ago, no spring chicken. And we had met, actually, Phil and I had met. I was 18 and he was 20 at a ski area north of Montreal called Mont Tremblant. And because my brother were ski patrollers there, and he was a ski instructor, and it was very small way back 40 years ago. And so we knew, he knew my brothers, and we knew of each other, and he thought I was cute, but I was dating someone else. So fast forward 40 years later, and we met online. I don't know how much of the story you want to hear, because the night before.
Yeah, I want to hear it. Please tell us. We love good love stories. Give us some hope. This podcast is also about hope, not just on how to become successful like you, but also how to get happy in life.
Yes. So the night before, I had been ghosted by yet another guy online, or like some kind of jerk online, and I was so upset. And so I was in my car and I was yelling, because I was in an apartment at the time, and yelling in an apartment might not be so good if the neighbors hear you. So I'm like, universe, where's my man? Why do you keep on sending me these assholes? I don't know if there's kids present, but I was swearing, and where's my freaking man? I'm 50 something years old. When are you going to send me my man? Why am I keep on attracting all these, and yelling, and so upset. And I went home and I had a cry, and I went to sleep. And the next morning I went back online on Bumble, and I was like, oh, he's cute. And I swiped right, and that was him. So if you yell loud enough, the universe might deliver the right man for you.
All right, I'm going to try this out tonight. I can yell. I usually don't yell, but I'm going to try it out and let you know. So if tomorrow I go back on dating apps, Bumble you recommend, and find my dream man, I definitely know it will work. You're going to become an even more successful woman, and everyone's going to try it out.
Yeah, it was. And the thing that I learned was, when it's right from the very beginning. Like, every single box was checked, and never been happier.
Wow. But what do you think has finally happened that you got there suddenly in that moment?
Yeah, my girlfriends would say a lot of healing. So I'm constantly interested in self improvement, being self-aware, as I said, spirituality, meditation, yoga, constantly improving myself. So I did a year of therapy back in the day. I've done a lot of soul searching, a lot of healing, a lot of self-help books, a lot of workshops. So I think, and as I said, repeating the same pattern over and over and over. So I think, we keep on learning the lessons over and over, and the universe will keep on giving us the same lesson until we finally learn it. And then we get the check mark, and then the universe will say, okay, I think she's ready. Here you go. So it was a lot of healing over the years.
Got it. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So, in relationships, many women lose themselves. What does it actually mean to stay emotionally, but also physically aligned with yourself while being deeply in love?
Yeah, I think for ourselves, we have a lot of common pastimes that we love to do. We both love snow. That was a big thing. We both love to ski and snowshoe and cross country ski. We love to go camping. So we have a lot of sports. I mean, I think on my dating profile, we put like sporty and fit. So that was a big match. And then we both have our own things that we love to do. Phil loves golf. I'm like, not a golfer. I'm happy to listen to his stories about how his golf game went, but I'm like, okay. So we both have our own pastimes, our own things that we do on our own. And just, I think because we both met so late in life, I'm just so happy and grateful every day that I'm with someone. It's not like we haven't been married for 30 years and like kind of tired of each other. I'm still on the honeymoon stage after 7 years. So we have that excitement and love and always like kiss each other hello and goodbye, even if he goes shopping.
That's beautiful. I was just like seeing this post from Dan Martell a couple of days ago, and like what he does with his wife every single week, like regularly to work on their relationship. Do you have specific tips that you are doing to stay in that honeymoon phase with your husband even 7 years later? Like
Just
routine?
the regular being, respectful. We're both super honest. We're both just really compatible. I'm very, from the beginning, very adamant about both of us helping out, like in the kitchen or with the chores. So he knows that I'm very specific about that. So we make sure that we both participate and just being grateful and celebrating the differences. I read that somewhere, instead of like, oh my God, why does he do that all the time? He's a man, I'm a woman. We're going to have a lot of things that we do differently. I'm more of a neat freak. So just, celebrating the differences and just being happy because we're together.
Yes. Now, let's be honest. Was there a time when your relationship with food or your body affected your romantic relationships? And if so, how?
Yeah, I would say I've been challenged in the past with hypoglycemia. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, if you go too long without eating, your blood sugar drops. And for me, it's the hangry, the irritability that goes up and up and up the longer I don't eat. So I really had to be careful. And still now I make sure I have snacks. I make sure I eat my meals on time and then I'm fine. But if I go too long without eating, then I'll get like more and more irritable. And it's like, just stand back and let Sue-Ann eat and don't say anything. So I think that's the most challenging thing for me. I've eaten super healthy for a long, long time. It's been my passion since I started practicing yoga in 1990. I started eating healthier and so eating healthy is my top priority. Being healthy is my top value.
Yes. It's funny. When I worked at HB, I remember we would say when we have a really important appointment, we need to make some decisions with the clients, maybe some signatures for like some new tenders or new projects. Never do it before lunchtime. And I thought that this was somehow like a prejudice against men, the hangriness. When you're hungry and you become angry, and this is probably the worst time to have your weekly jour fixe and regular meeting to make important decisions. But yeah, it's good to know women have it too.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk a little bit more about like the mission that you have, and especially all these women that you're empowering. And many of these women are high performing women like you and I. So your concept of body superpowers is super powerful. I've checked out your YouTube a little bit for everyone here. Definitely like check out her YouTube. She has amazing videos here, a lot of followers. She talks a lot about body typology, like that's also the name of her company. But yeah, these like superpowers. And it looks super empowering, to be honest. Yes, she's mainly focused on helping women, but yeah, check out Sue Ann's YouTube. Follow her here, Body Typology. Also, she is on Instagram and basically all other big social media. So yeah, going back to my question on this here. So yeah, your concept of body superpowers. What are the most high-performing women completely misunderstanding about their body when it comes to weight loss?
Oh yeah, that's I find the huge thing is that people still think they have to follow some overly restrictive diet in order to lose the weight they want. And usually they've tried so many things and they believe, that if they just can white knuckle it through this really hard diet and get to that goal weight, then they'll finally be there. They'll be able to stay there. And I say horse hockey. That's like the worst thing to do. When you restrict yourself, all you can think about is the foods that you can't eat. Or, I'm not a big fan of keto because I think carbs are not the enemy. We can have good carbs, potatoes, sweet potatoes, brown rice, quinoa. There's lots of really good carbs. So why should we eliminate an entire food group and deprive ourselves? Because after a while, you just don't, you are traveling or it's your birthday and you start having the cake and the different things and the weight comes all back on. So I'm a big fan of what I call enjoying your deviations. You don't have to deprive yourself completely. That's never sustainable. So enjoy when we eat right for our body type. I always encourage my clients to have a few deviations. I don't like the word cheats because it has such a negative connotation. And then you're on track most of the time. And that's a way you can continue, following your plan for the rest of your life. When you find a healthy way of eating that you enjoy, where you have your treats and you feel, let go of the guilt and let go of that whole pattern that's not possible to do long term.
I remember when I lived in the US for the first time, like several people like in the friend circle or like people around us of this host family where I was living in Las Vegas, they even mentioned there's even like peanut butter diets and then there's so many different ones, right? Yes. Why do you think like so many driven, successful women still struggle with weight, energy, or even emotional eating, despite being highly disciplined in so many other areas of their life?
Yeah, it's true. I think it's because there's, number one, there's so much conflicting information out there. So, some of my clients, when they start working with me, they're like, I don't even know what to eat anymore because they've heard so many things like, oh, a carrot is high in sugar. It's like, if it grows, it's good for you. And so many people also, it makes me a little crazy. Some people, like one man is a chiropractor, but he calls himself doctor. So people think he's a medical doctor. And he's just spewing out misinformation and sensationalistic things to get more clicks and likes and followers. And so I think people are confused and women don't really know what to do. And the emotional triggers can stem from things that were said when we were 12. They might be completely unconscious and stuck underneath. And so I think a lot of women don't realize maybe to what extent the emotional eating is still being triggered from things from a long time ago. When they find themselves late night snacking, they can't stop. But that's why I also practiced and studied rapid transformational therapy to help my clients unravel what was going on, to help them release that and reframe it. And it helps so much.
Yeah. Please tell me a bit more of like, what exactly is a body type? Because I'm not sure if I think of the right thing just by knowing the name. And then also, please make it a little bit more tangible for us on how exactly now through RTT, for example, and also some people might not even know what this is, how you help them. Like, how does it look like?
Yes. So the body types, we distinguish 3 body types for the woman and 2 for the men. It has to do with the glands. So nothing is wrong with the glands. It's just that we all have a dominant gland that's working very hard, and the others are trying to catch up. So your dominant gland, when it works hard, when you eat right for your body type, your dominant gland calms down and the other glands get stronger. So this creates a balance from the inside out. And it is, science backed from made by medical doctors. And in the early 1920s, Dr. Henry Beeler started distinguishing different body types, and he wrote a book, I think he was in his 70s, all about let food be thy medicine. So he was quite a pioneer in his field. And then another Dr. Abravanel wrote another book in 1980s describing the body types. When I was taking my classes to be a naturopath, I learned about it more, and then kind of put together my own signature program and called it Body Typology. So I'll explain the body types briefly. Hopefully,
yes,
people that are watching can maybe figure out which one they are. So often we think of pear-shaped, but it's way more than just the shape of the body, because we look at personality, we look at ailments that you're most prone to, energy levels, how much sleep you need. So it's a whole global approach. But in general, the pear-shaped has to do with the ovaries. So they are the motherly caregiving types. They love taking care of others, having big families. They might be a psychologist or a teacher or a nurse, and they're always giving to others. They need more sleep than the other body types. And so they tend to give to others. And at the end of the day, they might feel like their cup is empty. So they might reach for food when actually what they really need is to fill their own cup up. Maybe they need affection. And so that can be a challenge for them. And then the second body type, we often know as apple. So they usually have the broad shoulders, the larger upper body, large chest. Think of Oprah, very determined, strong, hardworking, go-getter. For the men, I call that the Titan body type. You think JT Fox is probably that body type, the real go-getter, right? Going to go and overcome all obstacles to get to where they're going. They're very strong. They're very jovial and friendly. They're very appreciated. And they tend to look calm on the outside, but they tend to internalize their stress. So stress can cause them to stress eat or have, high blood pressure and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then the third type is the first one I mentioned, the pear shape, that's for the woman only. And then the one for the adrenal glands, the second one, the apple shaped, that's for men and women. And then the third one, my body type, maybe yours as well, have usually we're taller, we have long limbs, long arms, long fingers. If we gain weight, we tend to gain weight like a spare tire around the middle. We love speed. We like things to go fast. We're very energetic in the morning, jump out of bed, ready to take on the day. If we're unbalanced, we can have what I was describing before, the up and down energy and reaching for sweets or coffee or chocolate to spike ourselves back up. And so protein is very helpful for us, especially at breakfast, to keep us more balanced all day. The thyroid body type, the challenges we might have might be with the digestive system or the nervous system, and the two go together. And so that's a little bit about the body types. If hopefully it's very brief, but a little bit of the overview.
I have already learned something. So like in the beginning, I was like, oh, am I an apple like JT, but the female version? But like, what was the name of the last one? Was it the pear one?
With the well, for the gland, I didn't mention, for the gland has to do with the thyroid gland, and nothing is wrong with the thyroid gland. That's just our dominant gland. And the name I gave, because I believe that when you follow your body type plan, it unlocks your superpowers. So I gave them superhero names. So we look like Catwoman. And the name I gave for our body type is Sonic, because Sonic like speed. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I mean, it sounds a little bit like me. So I just love that thanks to this podcast, I'm definitely going to try it, as you said, in the morning, eat more protein because I have long hours. And yeah, I definitely found myself in there, what you just said. So now I can only imagine if I had a proper session with you on how much more you would even help me and how even more energy I would have. Fun fact, my company is called Full Potential Partners. And the slogan is unlock your potential, right? So you and I were both doing the same, except for like I give like soft skill corporate trainings. I do a lot, like I have an AI marketing agency since last year. And I bridge people around the world to do business together. And you do it in a different way. So I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's so much fun to be here with you.
Yes. Okay. I have a few more questions. We're not done yet.
Great.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about like the other kind of help that you give. I mean, you give a lot of like awareness to the people. Like, how does like an RTT session look like? Like, what do you do? What else do you do to actually help those women unlock these superpowers?
Yeah, the RTT, like after I'd been practicing for a while as a naturopath, I realized I think I have the healthiest eating plan on the planet. It works amazing. But unless I help my clients heal their emotional triggers, they might revert right back into their old eating patterns and gain the weight back. So then I studied the RTT, or rapid transformational therapy, and it's such a phenomenal tool to help. I get my clients into a really relaxed state so they can bypass that really overly thinking, overly analytic mind and see, what comes up. I have processes that I bring them through. And often at the end, they're so surprised. I had one just yesterday, and she's like, I can't believe that came up. I completely forgot about that. I haven't thought about that for 20 years. Things that might have been said like in school or when we're little, we're so susceptible, and these things can mark us and stay in our unconscious mind. We're not even aware of them, and they're still affecting us today. So we do these processes, and I also have them see, like, maybe for me, like my shyness, the role it played was like a protection, right? To keep me from being hurt. So often in the RTT sessions, we find out like, I'm just the guide. They have the aha moments, and that's what makes it so much more powerful. They're like, oh, that's why I was doing that, because it protected me, or it served this role in my life. So we release all these, it sounds simplified, but you're not 5 years old or you're not 8 years old. You can release that. And then at the end, I make a powerful recording using a lot of my clients' words and affirmations, and I add on some more, and they listen to that recording for 3 or 4 weeks after the session, and that really instills a new positive mindset and positive thought pattern that makes it last. So it's so powerful.
It sounds powerful. So I'm a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. We tackled a tiny bit of like hypnosis, and before that, I think because of the media, I had a completely wrong image of what hypnosis is. Yes. What exactly is, and like I think we all know this, like from like TV, they go on stage, and I've even seen this live, and then like on the stage, basically they fall asleep, and suddenly the woman stops eating chocolate. Things like this, right? That's like what most people have in mind. What's the difference between RTT and like that kind of hypnosis that I just mentioned that we know from TV?
Yeah, way people think I'm, going to force them to cluck like a chicken on the stage in front of everybody. So it's yes. Really, I think that the big thing people think is if I'm going to be hypnotized, I'm going to be out of control. And that's completely the opposite. And when I was taking my training to be an RTT practitioner, I wasn't aware also that we're not going into this deep trance state. We're just relaxed. Mm. So, you're sitting in a chair, you're just relaxed, and we're having a dialogue. And it's, if someone has to get up and go to the bathroom, they can do that and come back and just get back into a relaxed state. They're in complete control, and I'm guiding them. But because of the relaxed state, as I said, we're we're able to bypass the state that we're usually in, trying to analyze every single thing and every single thought that comes in. We just let go of that because we're relaxed, and we can access different thoughts and things, memories that might have been kind of suppressed for many years.
Yeah, thank you. So you worked so hard actually with people on releasing those limiting beliefs. What is one, like maybe a typical hidden belief about weight or self-worth that silently keeps people stuck?
Yeah, I think the biggest one would be feeling not worthy, feeling like not people that don't have the self-esteem or the self-confidence. I used to say, like, I think everyone should be walking around on the planet holding a sign saying, I don't feel worthy. Because we're, you have social media, we compare ourselves to others, like how come they have that and I'm still taking me so long to attain whatever I'm at. We're constantly looking at what we don't have or what we haven't done, instead of looking, the gap in the gain. Like, look how far I've come, look at all the things I've done, look how much I've overcome. But I think so many people are like, how come I'm not there yet? How come I haven't achieved that yet? How come, she has that or he has that? And why is it taking me so long? And thinking that there's something wrong with us, instead of being our own inner cheerleader and, patting ourselves on the back and cheering ourselves on about all the things that we have accomplished and how great we are and how big our heart is inside. Like, what's more important than that?
Absolutely. I think there's so many women out there, whether they are in the menopause or because they have a lot of stress at work, and then others, they feel like they have tried everything. They tried all the diets, all the workouts. They think they're disciplined. Like, what is the deeper level, the deeper layer they likely haven't addressed yet? Or what else could they do now? Because they think they have done everything.
Yeah, I think that try and work with someone, have the accountability with someone to help you see your patterns and to help you, you're a coach. You also know that coaches can help us achieve our goals so much more faster than we do it on our own. So having that accountability and implementing small habits over time that you can then sustain long term. That's my biggest goal with my clients. Yes, the pounds will come off, but it's more about, becoming that healthy person, asking yourself, what would a healthy person do? Changing that identity into someone who is reaching for the healthy food and wants to have a walk and move the body and realizes the importance of that. So when they're older, they won't need, so many people think, oh, it's normal as I get older, I'm going to need more medication and I'm going to have aches and pains. And like, no, like, why? I want to be still climbing mountains when I'm in my 80s and 90s and doing all my sports still.
Oh, I love that you just said it. It was literally like a couple of hours ago. I spoke to my dad, and he was with his wife in Brazil. He came back to Germany, and he's like, oh, I got to see the doctor, my neck and my spine and some parts are used. And then he's like, of course I'm 62. It's normal. And my health is so much better than everyone else. And of course he's still working because this is Germany. So it's a very good point what you just said. Identity, working on your identity. And that's why very often people would hire us, coaches, therapists, naturopaths, hypnotherapists, and so on, and also what you're doing, right? Such a big key point. Again, a good reminder for myself, working on our identity. Okay, we're slowly coming to an end. I have about like 2-3 last questions. Now that you work with so many high achievers, what does true health and success look like to you today beyond just weight loss?
True success. I think it's a lot about happiness and health. Those are my highest values. True success is a good question.
And true health.
Yeah, true wealth. like I when I was practicing yoga, it was it's called Shivananda yoga. Swami Shivananda was quite a master in India, and he always said health is wealth, peace of mind is happiness.
Yeah.
Yoga shows the way. there's many other things that we can do that show the way, but I would say that's a great quote from him, that the more we can have happiness inside, peace of mind, and health, that's the greatest success. Monetary success is always nice as well, to enjoy more of the things that we want to, and travel and everything else. But I think it all comes back to being happy inside our heart with what we have, and just gratitude, waking up every day with gratitude for where we are and what we have.
Absolutely. And I can see in the background, so as a reminder, Sue-Ann Hickey is also an international best-selling author. Is that your book in the background, Body Typology?
Yes.
Where can people find it?
It's on Amazon. It's on many bookstores online. They can find my website is the same, Body Typology name, so they can find it there too.
Amazing. We'll definitely have your links in the description written later on as well, once we have the recording up on Spotify and YouTube. I'm so grateful so many people joined us from around the world, a lot of diversity, different channels. Last question for you now. If someone listening feels stuck in their body, their habits, or their self-image, what is this one shift they can make today, not tomorrow, not next week, to start unlocking their body's natural power?
To start unlocking their body's natural power. Well, if they've been listening to up until this point, and they recognize their body type by the description, like some of the tips I gave, like for the pear-shaped body type or Gaia, is because they're the motherly caregiver, and usually they put themselves last on their list. How can they put themselves higher on their list and take care of themselves as well as taking care of others? If they recognize the description of the more apple-shaped Athena type, how can they better manage their stress? Because stress will always hinder their weight loss. If the body is stressed, the body will hold on to weight for protection. So for you, if you're that type, I would say, what can you do to better manage your stress? Whether that's going for a walk, or exercising, or even doing deep abdominal breathing, yoga, meditation, listening to calming music, calling a girlfriend, whatever you can do will help you daily to manage your stress, will help the pounds come off and help your health be better. And if you're a sonic body type with the long arms and long limbs, I would say yes, the protein can help keep us way more balanced and feeling better. So protein, breakfast protein throughout the day to keep you more balanced. And if you haven't figured out your body type, I do have a quiz on my website, which you can try out, and maybe you'll get some more information. And I would say, no matter what body type you are, as I was just mentioning a little while ago, implementing small habits that you can then sustain over time. So no matter what body type you are, like maybe tomorrow you'll make yourself a healthy snack, or just find one small habit that you can implement, or maybe it's drinking more water for you, whatever is easy, so then you can feel accomplished, and then you add on one more thing and keep on going from there.
Thank you so much for your tips. Sharing is caring, guys. If you like today's episode about body typology, also look online for Sue-Ann Hickey, follow her, share this episode to your friends, to your colleagues, whoever needs to see it. Sometimes it's just this one word, like for example, identity or body typology or pair, whatever it is, that can change your whole life, right? And if you are looking to do business in Australia, in China, or anywhere else in the world, feel free to reach out to me as well. I'm a global connector, part of this business club as well, a global one. If you're looking for AI marketing services or soft skill leadership trainings, reach out to me and my Full Potential Partners team. Thank you for joining. But let me quickly show you what's coming up next for tomorrow. So tomorrow we have every day during this like 30-day daily podcast, we have some very interesting people here. So I am going to share with you, now I'm showing the wrong, I'm actually showing the wrong part of my laptop. 1 second. So, nope, this is wrong again. One more try. Let's share the screen. And we have coming up next. Okay, here. No, doesn't want to. Okay, I have it somewhere else. Oh yeah, here it is. All right, guys. Tomorrow we have, I'm not sure if you can see this now. Are you able to see my flyer?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. How to get hired globally. So we have two experts. They have known each other from Dubai. And Munir, he's still living in Dubai and Singapore. And Australian Trisha has moved back to Australia. She lives in Melbourne. They are both serial entrepreneurs. And tomorrow we're going to speak about job search and hiring secrets in UAE, Asia, and Australia. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. And I would like to say thank you so much, Sue-Ann Hickey, for making time. It's late in the evening. And also, guys, subscribe to the Spotify and YouTube of Sue-Ann Hickey, as well as mine, Business Meets Life, Jenny Jacob. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, Janine. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we're having an outro now.